All right, so we're going to finish the last section, and the last section is 3.6, and the last part of 3.6 is example 4, related rates in business, looking at cost, revenue, and profit. So suppose a manufacturing company does flash drives, and you determine that their cost, revenue, and profit equation is given by here. So your cost, C, equals 5,000 plus 2x. Your revenue equation, R, equals 10x minus 0.001x squared. And your profit is revenue minus cost, where the production output in 1 week is X flash drives. Every time we have a word problem, the very first thing you need to make sure you understand is in this case, what's X? Number of flash drives. And it's actually flash drives per week, right? It's how many flash drives we can put out in a week. So if you tell me how many flash drives, I'll tell you the cost. You tell me how many flash drives, I'll tell you the revenue. And then we can figure out the profit by taking revenue minus cost. So you have to understand, have to understand, have to understand. Okay? So the first question, and it says, if production increases at a rate of 500 flash drives per week, when production is 2,000 flash drives, find the rate of increase in the cost. So let's stop a second. What I really want you to pull out of this is noticing which is an original, which is a derivative, which is a rate of change, right? So when I talk about 2,000 flash drives, is that X or is that the derivative of X? 2,000 flash drives. That's just X. That's how many flash drives. But when I talk about the rate, 500 flash drives per week, what's that going to be? That's the derivative of X. So see the difference? That's what's nice about this section. That's the kind of stuff I want to point out. So we'll look at this one. And we're going to do this one together. So take out a sheet of paper, and we'll work this one out. Okay? So we have cost equals 5,000 plus 2x. Now let's be very clear. This is the original cost function. You tell me how many flash drives, I'll tell you total cost. Are we okay? What we want to do is take the derivative of cost. Now, we don't really need to do implicit differentiation here because there's only one variable. But because it's in related rates and we're talking about different ones, we'll go ahead and do it. But what's the derivative of 5,000? 0 dx over dt. Plus, what's the derivative of 2x? 2 dx over dt. Okay? But again, because there's that time element in there, anytime you multiply by 0, what happens? That part's gone. So we end up with the derivative of cost with respect to time is 2 times dx over dt. So let's just stop there and make sure everything makes sense. We have cost. We're talking about how cost is changing. So we take the derivative. The derivative of 5,000 simply becomes 0. And then the dx over dt is how the x changes with respect to time. That all becomes 0. And the derivative of 2x is 2, the derivative of x with respect to time. So time's our other element here. Okay? So we end up with the derivative of cost with respect to time is 2 times dx over dt. Good so far? And remember, they told us x equals 2,000, dx over dt equals 500. So if I want to find out how the cost is changing, which one tells me cost changing? The original cost or the derivative of cost? The derivative. And if I plug in 2 times dx over dt, 2 times 500 is 1,000. And remember, that's how it's changing. And the cost is changing $1,000 per week. $1,000 $1,000 per week. $1,000 per week. Good so far? Now, we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to do it to revenue. Okay? So, to finish this off, cost is increasing at the rate of $1,000 per week. So we're talking about flash drives per week, the output, and cost, revenue. Okay, so let's do the same thing, same setup, same everything, but for revenue. Remember, we're talking about 2,000 flash drives, and we know that the rate of change for X, how X is changing, is 500 per week. So let's do the same thing, but for revenue. Let's do the same thing for revenue. So revenue equals 10x minus 0.001 x squared. That's given to us. And let's go slowly through. Let's see what we get. So we're going to take the derivative of revenue with respect to time. We're going to take the derivative of revenue with respect to time. What's the derivative of 10x? 10 dx over dt. I'm going to put that in parentheses just to kind of make sure we're clear. So the derivative of 10x is 10. What's the derivative of 0.001 x squared? 0.002 x, derivative of x with respect to time. Stop there. Now, here's the part I want you to do, just like we did last time with the related rates. Step one, are we comfortable with taking the derivative? Derivative of x with respect to time, derivative of x with respect to time. And we're given that x is 2,000, dx over dt is 500. 2,000 flash drives, the rate of change of those flash drives is 500. Are we okay? You have your equation. Everywhere there's an x, plug in 2,000. Everywhere there's a dx over dt, plug in 500, get your answer, and write in a sentence. Okay, so if I start plugging in, I have 10 times 500 minus 0.002 times 2,000 times 500. Questions there? Plugging everything in. We have our setup, and we get what do we end up getting? $3,000. And that's $3,000 per week. So if I write this like we did last time, revenue is increasing at a rate of $3,000 per week. So cost, excuse me, is increasing at a rate of $1,000 per week, but your revenue is increasing at $3 per week. Questions there? So there's the work for revenue. Revenue is increasing at a rate of $3,000 per week. And then the last question, and we're done with this section. If production increases at a rate of 500 flash drives per week, and production is 2,000, find the profit. Well, this one's actually going to be pretty quick. This one's going to be pretty quick. And the reason why this is going to be pretty quick is, how do you find profit? Revenue minus cost. Well, what was the rate of change for revenue? 3,000. What was the rate of change for cost? 1,000. So how is profit changing? $2,000 per week. So once we found revenue, that's changing $3,000 a week. Our cost is changing $1,000 a week. So our profit would be $2,000 per week. Profit is increasing at a rate of $2,000 per week. Okay, and that's it. We're done with that section.